Hey guys, welcome back to the SaxTuition YouTube channel. My name's Jeremy. Now, one of the most common questions I get from the community is where's the best place to find saxophone sheet music on the internet? In an ideal situation, there'd just be one big library of music that covers everything you'd ever want to learn. Rock, pop, jazz, R&B, classical music, kind of like a Spotify for sheet music. So why is it so hard in this day and age to find something like that? Well, because most sheet music is still controlled by a patchwork of different publishers. It's almost impossible to find one central place for anything. Well guys, the folks at Tomplay reached out to me a little while ago and offered me a chance to check out their app because they think they've built something really special for saxophone players. Now, I have to say, since the channel has grown through the last 12 months, I've had more and more brands reach out to me asking me to talk about their product. And, to be honest, I'm not really into creating that sort of content. But after using this Tomplay app for about a month, I can actually tell they've worked really hard to put together an impressive library of saxophone music. And with the added features of the app, which we'll get into in this video, I actually think it's going to be of value to a lot of people in the community. So this is going to be a quick review of the app. I'll share my honest thoughts about it and hopefully you'll get a good idea of whether it's right for you. Now, full disclaimer here, guys, this is not a paid video. The opinions expressed here are all my own. However, I do have a link to share with you guys and a discount code that will give you a 14-day free trial and a 30% off a Tomplay subscription if you're interested in signing up. And I've put all that information in the description down below. So let's check it out. So let's start with some of the basics here. Tomplay is a company based in Switzerland and they describe themselves as offering interactive sheet music. Basically, it's music that scrolls in real time as you play. There's a browser version which you can access through your computer, or you can use the Tomplay app which you can download to your tablet like an iPad or an Android device. Now, I've had a bit of experience using both versions, and personally, I think if you own a tablet, the app is the way to go because you can stick it on your music stand, pop in some headphones, and it just gives you a very natural playing experience. So there's two sides to the app. There's the shop side where you can search for the music you want to play, and then there's the section called My Scores. And this is where you'll actually play the music that you've downloaded from the shop. Now, if you've just got a free account, you'll notice there's only a few scores which you have access to right from the very start. Otherwise, what you'll want to do is sign up for a free trial of the subscription so you have access to the whole library. Just scrolling through the shop, you get the sense straight away that there's a lot of stuff on here. There's Whitney Houston, Elton John, Straits, Michael Bublé, Frank Sinatra. There's Christmas stuff, there's classical stuff, and because you select your instrument when you sign up, by default, it only shows you the music for the saxophone, which of course is very handy. So for this video, I'm going to select the most popular song people are learning right now on Tomplay, and that's the tune Lily Was Here by Candy Dulfer and Dave Stewart. Even if you don't think you've heard this song, trust me, you've heard this song. Now, at first, I was a little confused because you can see straight away that there are multiple versions of Lily Was Here. But then I soon realized that not only is there a version for alto, soprano, and tenor sax, but there are actually 3 different difficulty levels on offer as well. So for this video, I'm going to select the alto saxophone version at the highest difficulty level, which they describe as intermediate. Now here we can see a preview of what the song looks like, but let's just dive right in and give it a shot. I'm just going to give you a little excerpt of Lily Was Here. So now you can already see some of the basic features of the app. The music scrolls as you play. We've got a really professional sounding play along track. But now I'm going to just dig a little deeper into some of the other features which I think will be really useful for practice. To do that, let's jump over to the browser version. Okay, so here we are in the desktop version of Tomplay, and we can see a bunch of options up the top in this bar up here. So the first thing I'll show you is this little audio mixer. So what we can do is we can adjust the volume of the track, we can adjust the volume of the saxophone that we can use as a guide, and also we can bring in a metronome if we want. So if you just want to practice with a metronome and no accompaniment, you can. If you want to practice just with the saxophone, I guess you can, although that wouldn't make much sense. You'd want to practice it either with the track or the click, and play along with that. So that's a fantastic little feature. Let's listen to what the saxophone actually sounds like. If I just drop us in here, we've got the saxophone in the mix. Let's just have a listen to that. Yep, sure enough, there's a saxophone there. And of course, just by clicking on the bar that we want to play, we can move this playhead around. Now you might have seen in my playthrough that I did, the playhead wasn't quite aligned with where the music was. And I found that to be very, very distracting personally. So I would go into settings and turn the cursor off. So the cursor is that pink line that you see. If you turn that off, I've found it's just a little bit easier to follow along because naturally your eye is going to be drawn to that rather than actually, you know, the music and the notes that are going by. So that's my recommendation. We have a tempo slider up here. Now that's incredibly useful if you want to. Well, I guess you could make it faster if you want, but certainly if you want to make it slower to practice, we can just drag this slider down, and that again is going to be so good for practice. Now, if I just move through these lines here, let's just say these two bars here, if we wanted to practice them and just loop them around and around, what we could do is click and drag, I think. Nope, sorry, we've got a loop feature up here. Got to remember how to do all this. Let's close that. And what we can do is we can actually drag this around the bars we want to loop. Hit play. Let's have a listen to that. We also have the ability to record ourselves playing. Now this is just going to use your built-in microphone in your iPad or your computer or whatever you're using. So the quality I don't think is going to be spectacular, but it is really great. It's a great tool to use just to keep track of your practice. Another thing that's hugely useful to people is this little visual button. Now if we click this, we can see a diagram of the saxophone pops up. And let's say you didn't know the fingering for that note there. We click on it and bam, it's going to show us that that fingering is a high B. Use your first finger and your octave key. So if you just wanted to look something up on the fly, you can. And if you want to go one step deeper and actually play the track, you can see it's actually going to update as you go along. Now, it's going to be really hard, I think, to follow along the fingerings in real time. But again, that's a really, really cool saxophone-specific feature. We've also got this little tuner up here. So if you want to tune before you play, you can play a concert B flat, which of course would be G for the alto and bari sax, and a C for tenor and soprano. Really useful, nice little feature, that one. We've got the ability to create our own scores. We won't really touch that today, but that is really the core features of the Tomplay app. Now, I must say, I think this looks all a lot better on the tablet, on your iPad or whatever you're using, just because you can see the whole page. The aspect ratio of a computer screen isn't ideal, but it's still totally usable. So, if you did want to use a browser instead of an iPad, you can totally do that. Well guys, I hope this video has been interesting. I certainly think there's a lot of sax players out there that will get a lot of value from Tomplay, particularly those that have already mastered the basics of the saxophone. It won't teach you how to play the saxophone, but it will certainly give you hours and hours of really great songs to play, so you'll always have something to work towards. And if you want to give it a try for yourself, follow the link in the description below and enter the promo code SaxTuition30 for a 14-day free trial and a 30% discount on the yearly subscription after your trial ends. And of course, if you want a nice solid foundation on the saxophone before you dive into something like Tomplay, check out the SaxTuition Beginner Series. You can watch lesson 1 for free right here on YouTube, and I've put a link to that right up here in the top corner. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to the SaxTuition YouTube channel for more great saxophone content. And of course, I'll see you all again soon.